Now, what does this look like in the typical amateur golf student? Let's take a look. So on the left, I've got my student up here who was spent a few years studying stack and tilt. And now you're going to see that kind of breed over. Now, of course, he's just simply not doing it exactly the way that the stack and tilt guys would advocate. But you'll see the tendencies here. So watch as he goes back. So obviously it's set up. He's set up more into his left side. You can see his left arm's a little jammed into his body. His head is way far forward. If you draw a straight line down from his nose, it's further forward. Here I've got him back. His head's turned here a little bit, but you can see his center of his head's going to be a little bit back further behind the ball. And I want his hands to be back a little bit further and his whole body to be back a little bit further. But this was just kind of our first start. But now watch as he goes back. So on the left, you're going to see his head immediately go in front of that line and his hips even going forward. So if we draw a line on the left hip here, you're going to see him trying to get out in front of it right away. And now he's in a really, really compromised position. So now he's got to work really hard to try and get back behind the ball. But like many amateur golfers who have attempted this golf swing, they struggle to get back behind the ball. And so now he actually gets further out in front. And now you're going to see the old flip, scoop, chicken wing, because he's so far out in front of the ball that if he didn't do that, he'd miss it completely. He needs the ball to be way out here in front of his foot in order to not have to scoop and chicken wing. So now on the right, you'll see I had him feel like he's swaying off the ball with his hip, swaying off the ball with his head, and look, it barely moves. Feel versus real. Now, as he starts down, his head gets back out in front a little bit. He's watching himself in the mirror to make sure he's trying to stay back. But you can see now he has more room for his arms to swing freely through. And this is, again, not perfect, not exactly what we want to do, but this is just after a few minutes of working on really just a setup change and then feeling like he's getting deep into that right side. You can see he's not going to feel like he's trapped over the top of the ball and having to work really hard to get back behind it. The other thing that you're going to notice as we go to the top of his swing is look at his shoulder turn. There's zero comparison here. When you stay on the lead side, it's very hard to make a full turn, which will make your swing feel kind of bound up and rushed. You can see he just looks like he's twisted himself up into a pretzel here. And here he's able to make, 40 degrees more shoulder rotation with less strain, less tension. This allows him to sequence the downswing correctly rather than feel like he's got to rush everything down. Because when he's like this and he's hanging on that left side and you don't allow your pressure to shift over to the right, get deep into that right hip, get the head back over that right foot or feeling like it's back over that right foot like the old necktie drill you've seen years ago, then you're going to feel like you've got to rush that downswing. And here, on the right, he's got all the time in the world to begin to sequence everything to come back down. You can see his hips look more natural. Over here, he looks very awkward. And again, it's just really a setup change and what we're going to discuss in this upcoming video about how the hips need to feel like they need to move in the swing.